Get your minds out of the gutter. It's just a suppressor. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bald Guys with Guns. I'm Rob, and today I'm out here testing some suppressors. So, we have from Northreach Manufacturing the Whisper Pickle 30. We have two from SilencerCo, the Omega 300 and the Hybrid 46M in its long configuration. So, the point of this test today is to see how much quieter the Whisper Pickle is than these two, if that's even the case. I have a decibel reader here, but I've realized in the sunlight those numbers are really hard probably for you guys to see. So I'm gonna take shots left-handed and hold my phone up here and so that you guys can see the decibel reader go. But also we're gonna cut to, wow, that's a big bug. Okay, we're gonna cut to showing the lengths of these and the weights of them, so that you know if this one's quieter but it's so much heavier than this one, but it was only slightly quieter or whatever. We're going to do the best we can, but what really the takeaway is going to be here is maybe not even what you see on the decibel reader, but more based on how I felt it sounded, because realistically it's how the person perceives it, not necessarily this, because you've got ambient noise and all that stuff, and I don't know how good this thing will pick it up anyway. So we'll pay attention to that, but mostly we'll just be talking about how I feel about how each one sounds. And I didn't put the brake on any of these with the SilencerCo, because I wanted them all to have the caps so that everything as even as possible. All right, so we've got all of our suppressors here. We've got our handy dandy measuring tape. So, Whisper Pickle 30 first for length. That looks to be about 7 and 7/8 ish. 7 and 13/16, somewhere in that area. The Hybrid 46M, exactly 8 inches, basically. Yeah, basically just 8 inches long. So it's the longest of. And the Omega 300, we're looking at basically 6 1/8. 6 inches and 1/8. So obviously the shortest, but so the Hybrid 46M in its long configuration comes in as the longest. All right, moving on to weights. We're doing pounds and ounces on our scale here. Whisper Pickle 30 first. 1 pound, 6.1 ounces for the Whisper Pickle 30. Hybrid 46M. 1 pound, 1.4 ounces. So we're just about 5 ounces lighter. Omega 300. 1 pound, 0.3 ounces. So just barely the lightest, even though it's almost 2 inches shorter than the Hybrid 46M. So for the extra 2 inches, basically you're getting only 1 ounce heavier. That's wild. And obviously the Whisper Pickle 30, that guy is 1 pound 6 ounces. So he is the heaviest by almost 5 ounces. So there's your comparisons for weight and length. So we're going to start with the Whisper Pickle 30, and we'll take 3 shots through each and try to get the data there. But yeah, let's get to it. So we're just shooting into the trees. I don't have targets set up downrange for this because I know that with each suppressor it's going to change my point of impact, and it just seems pointless when all we're trying to do is see what the suppressors do. So I'm going to get this up close for you. All right, here we go. Shot number 1 with the Whisper Pickle 30. Looks like it jumped up to 102. Shot number 2, 104. And we'll go shot number 3. 103. So they were all pretty close. We'll now take off, leave the action open. We'll even take the mag out since I'm going to be up in front of the gun here. Let's move straight to the Hybrid 46M because they're going to be fairly similar lengths. To start out with, the Omega 300 is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches shorter, as you saw when we cut scene. So let's move to this, the Hybrid 46M. Part of the reason for only doing 3 shots is because that way the suppressor doesn't get too hot for me to take on and off. And I feel like 3 shots is enough decibel reader data. But again, so the Whisper Pickle did sound super quiet. I've always enjoyed shooting it. It's what I've been shooting on this gun. We have Slimer out if you didn't notice. And yeah, the Whisper Pickle has been very, very quiet. A lot of people are stunned at how quiet that sounds. So I'm interested to compare different suppressors here. All right, first shot, Hybrid 46M. 107 is what I saw. Okay. To my own ears, it really didn't sound that different. Decibels are logarithmic, so it should be noticeably different from 103 or 4 to 107. So surprising that it didn't really sound all that different to me. Let's do shot number 2. That one only got up to 90, but I feel like it was the same. To my ears, the same as the last one. All right, final one for the Hybrid 46M. 106. So yeah, I think the decibel reader just didn't catch that second one very good, but they're very close. They're very close. The Whisper Pickle is currently winning. All right, last guy here, Omega 300. I expect this to be quite a bit louder, but it's short, it's super lightweight. So yeah, we'll see. It's still going to be hearing safe, but I expect us to see probably into the 100 in teens, maybe a little higher. Okay, phone, video. All right, got a B. Okay, B's gone. All right, here we go. First shot with the Omega 300. Oh yeah, I didn't catch that, but I saw 1-1 something, so I think into the 100 teens. Still though, and it was noticeably louder to my ear. I think currently obviously the first two are better for noise suppression or sound suppression, but all three have been pleasant without having to wear ears. So, and that's kind of the point, right? Shot number 2. 112, did I see? Okay. I can definitely hear the difference in the Omega than the other two. But again, it's nothing. I wouldn't shy away from using this because it is still very quiet. Like, you don't need hearing protection for this. All right, last final shot. I think that went, I want to say I saw 112 all 3 times. Very consistent. But again, not the best decibel reader. It is a little bit behind the gun. On the side of the gun is definitely louder than directly behind it. But you know, it's kind of, you see the setup here. It's hooked onto my tripod and everything. So again, to my ears, the Whisper Pickle 30 and the Hybrid 46M in its long configuration were very close. You saw higher decibels from the 46M on the decibel reader. To my ears, it didn't sound all that different. At that point, it comes down to weight, and they're very similar in weight. Again, we showed how much they weighed on a scale earlier. So between those 3, and those are the only 30 cal suppressors that I have, the Whisper Pickle definitely stacks up, and I'm probably, you know, I'm not, nothing here made me want to switch from using the Whisper Pickle 30 on this rifle. It is so quiet, and you know, I've shot it before amongst other shooters, and people, you know, when other guns are going off and stuff, people just don't notice this gun go off with that suppressor on. I think the same can be said for the Hybrid 46M, in all fairness. Again, in its long configuration, I imagine it would be very similar to the Omega 300 that I have on there now if we did the short config, because it literally would be the same length. But again, the baffles are built slightly different between the two, so that could be something else to test in the future. But as you can see, like, they are, the Hybrid 46M might actually be just a touch shorter in the short config. But anyways, this was just a basic test. I wanted to compare them in their most used configurations. Obviously, you buy a Hybrid 46 non-M, it's just that length always. So for me, I am still, like, I love the Whisper Pickle. I think based on its overall length and weight, and for a gun like this, absolutely every day of the week. It is a 30 cal, so the Hybrid 46M is a little more versatile, which is good because I can use it on bigger caliber guns and just keep using the Whisper Pickle on here, and that works for me. For the money, especially for the money, that's something that we need to talk about. These retail for $475 or something. This guy is $1,000. This guy's $600. You can't beat this for the price. That is one thing I can say with absolute surety. Like, I would go for this every day of the week, as long as I wasn't shooting some pencil barrel that this could potentially make it flex. But any kind of a thicker barrel, doesn't even have to be this thick, obviously, but this thing all day, every day, just for money wise. But I was also curious myself because I've had the Omega 300 and the Hybrid 46M for a while, and I've never actually shot anything but the Whisper Pickle on this gun, so I was curious anyway. But without doubt, the Whisper Pickle is definitely my go-to. It's gonna stay on this gun. It'll be on this gun every time we use it, for sure. Hope you guys enjoy that content. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. Always remember, only the most beautiful scalps are bald, and we will see you on the next one.